Hello, hello. Happy Monday. All right. So as I kick this off, I think I saw Brittany was here. Yes, she is. I have an amazing guest speaker, amazing leader in our company. Brittany, if you watched that Saturday when I was on about for the magazine, y'all saw her speak, and I don't know if y'all were like me, but I was just like this the whole time. I was just, one, her accent, but y'all know me in accents, but two, everything she had to say, I was like, speak to me, like speak to my soul. So y'all know Brittany, let me introduce you to everyone. So everyone, hi, Brittany, hi. But they are very good with tough love. In this community, we call it Lynn's Love. They no longer let me call it tough love. It is Lynn's Love. And I am so excited to have you. Yes, look at all these I ams. Keep them coming. Do not stop. Let's speak it. It's November. I am huge into non-negotiables. I am huge into no excuses. So when Brittany was like, hey, what do you want me to talk about? I was like, no excuses, all that different stuff. Because you guys, we have 2 months left. The holidays are right around the corner. If I knew how to well, I don't think you could flip a camera on a laptop. Y'all would see my Christmas tree right behind me. I am not using a ring light. I am using Christmas tree lights tonight. Like, y'all, the holidays are here. What are you waiting for? I'm still admitting people from the waiting room. Lord help me. I need you guys to know that you have 2 months left of 2020. If you have not hit your goal in 2020, you still have not arrived. I have not arrived. Brittany has not arrived. Just because you have a team or because you get somewhere where you want to be, that just means you got to go a little bit farther and you got to dream a little bit bigger. If your dreams and those I ams in that chat right now are not scaring you and you're reading them and you're like, they want to do what? You need to live in that chat for a second and get there and see them, because the only way that you are going to get there, if you remember listening to Drew last week talk, and he said, every single person here is a leader. You have to lead yourself. I am a leader. And if that was not one of your I ams, I need you to go and put it in the chat right now. And I need you to write it down on whatever notepad you have, because every single person here is a leader. You don't become a leader because you enroll someone. You become a leader because you lead yourself. Your upline is not going to do it for you. As much as I love all of y'all, and I would love to work businesses for some of y'all, because some of y'all have so much freaking potential. And I look at you and I'm like, if I could just do the business, right? But I cannot do it for you. You have to do it. Every single one of y'all, you have to do it for yourself. And with the next 60 days, sorry, I'm still admitting from the waiting room. Y'all know me and Squirrel Brain. The next 60 days, I want you guys to stay in your lane and be laser focused and realize 2020, yes, it's been a year. We can all agree. It has been a year, but 2020 does not have to be an awful year. You have 2 months to change what 2020 is for you. 2020, and I don't mean to be insensitive at all, because I know it has been a very rough year for so many people. But 2020 has been my best year. I will not lie. As much as it sounds, and I was talking to a couple different people, and I was like, I feel so bad that 2020 has been my best year, because so many people it has not been. And they literally looked at me and they're like, do not feel bad. You worked 7+ years. Almost December 10th will be my 3 years in this company to make 2020 my best year. I did not allow what was happening in the world to stop what we were doing. Y'all, we hit 200K right as a pandemic happened. March, we went 200K. Like, it did not slow us down. So I need you guys to know that you are in full control. And the reason why I said we were doing a kickoff for November and it was no excuses, non-negotiable November, is because you will decide if you are going to make this win. You are going to decide if you're going to end 2020 with a badass business to explode in 2021, or if at the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021, wow, tongue twister, is going to be the exact same. You get to decide. You get to choose. You choose your hard. You choose your quitting. Are you going to quit on yourself, or are you going to run so dang fast through 2020 that you're like, hey, 2021, buckle up, because here we go. Because y'all know how you end a month is how you start a month. Y'all, how you end a year is how you start a year. Do you want 2021 to start the way that you're working your business today? Ask yourself, are your I ams that you put into this chat today, that you wrote down on your paper, are they going to, what you're doing today, is that the action plan to get you there? Really ask yourself, and I'm going to pass it over to Brittany. Hold on, let me unmute you. Hi, thank you so much for hopping on.
You got me all pumped up now. I'm like, okay, can I just flip this over to the Zoom on my team that's going on right now? Okay, guys. So, you know, it gets really, really hard to have these conversations over and over and over sometimes but sometimes it's just that one person that needs to hear what you have to say that night, or that one person that can connect to you. And the thing that I see when I see these I ams, and Lindsay said y'all went 200K in March. In March, I got back from Riviera Mine and I was sitting at my desk, and it was March the 22nd, middle of a pandemic. And I had the worst check I had since I started this business in June 1st of 2019. I had been a 12K for 9 months at that point. And I literally was like, I am a nurse and I could go back to work in a hospital right now and make way more money than what I just made this week. It was not even one of those things that, like, when I started this business, I knew how much I had to make every week because I wanted to be able to stay at home with my kids and not go back to work. My husband and I just closed a business, and I was just like, I want to be at home. My kids were 15 and 17 years old. I had 1 year left at home with them, and I had worked my butt off their entire life, and I wanted to be at home. We had been through a crazy 2019, and 2020 was just not looking any better, but I was not letting that stop me. And so I had lost my vision. I knew what I had to do every month to make it through the month, you know, like everyone does. Like, you show up to work, you do what you got to do, make sure you get your paycheck, you don't call in on sick days, you don't take extra days off, all of those things to make sure you pay your bills. And I had done all of those things over the last, 9 months that I had been a Lavelle promoter. I made what I needed to make. I had a goal. I wanted to be 12K. I wanted to be 200K. And so I sit down that Tuesday, and I'm sitting here with my head in my hand, and I'm like, okay, I can start all over and go back to work. Or I can literally dig in, where so many people would use this as an excuse to hightail it out of the MLM and just say it didn't work. Or I just need something more stable. Well, if any of you have not figured this out in the last 8 months, there is not a daggum job that is stable. So I don't care what industry you're in, even the medical field, they are losing people left and right every single day, guys. So I had not what I had to do to pay my bills. So I made a vision board. And all I could remember was when I was at Riviera Mine, Jason Camper said, if you want to be a 200K, you act like a 200K. You want to be a leader, you act like a leader. You want to be where someone else is at, do what they're doing. Who says that you have to be a 200K to host a Zoom? Who says you have to be a 200K to have a power hour? But the thing is, we didn't have any of that in my team. We had nothing. We had no power hour. We had no nighttime Zooms. Our team was like so against Zooms, like it was foreign to them. And I was like, guys, we don't have a daggum option at this point. So in March, I made a vision board, and I put 200K in the middle of it. And I put all these other things around it, debt free, where we want to go on vacation, all things, guys. And I had wanted, and in this business, everybody, I think a lot of people can relate, like you start branching off, trying to bring other things in. Like I had always wanted to be a like personal trainer. I wanted to have a studio in my house. And then I was like, I am kicking 6 balls, 1 a day. And instead of kicking that one ball every single time, that 6 kicks a day, I was kicking 6 different balls and not ever hitting the goal. And so I decided, I looked at my vision board and I put dates on what was most important. Like, what needs to come first? What is my vessel? What is going to make me feel the most accomplished? And what does my family need? I needed to be 200K. I am not even going to lie. I put the daggum car on my vision board. I was number 6 on the vision board, on the leaderboard. But the thing was, it was crazy. Like, my whole team, they were like, it's yours, it's yours, it's yours. And do believe that I was like let down that night, guys. I'm just going to be honest. I was completely let down. I was like, dadgummit, I worked so hard. But whoever gets mad at someone else's blessings or loses their win because of somebody else's blessings, that's why you're not getting what you want. If you see your side sisters winning, if you see an upline going somewhere, if you see someone in this business going somewhere and you're not cheering them on, or it slows you or takes the wind out of your sails, that's your problem. Number 1, hands down, you are blocking your own blessings by worrying about what other people are doing. If you can't put your blinders on and you don't know why you're in this business and you keep watching what everybody else is doing, guys, no one on my team knew why I needed what I needed. My side sisters didn't know my business. My upline knew my business and my team knew my business. My side sisters did not know why I was running so hard. We literally flipped our whole life upside down in 2019. Completely upside down. My husband and I had worked and built a business that literally was eating us every single day. We were working 80 and 90 hours a week. We were straight control freaks. We were killing it in our business. It looked amazing on the outside, and our family was straight up trash. We had no family time. We had no dinner times. We had no real quality time with our kids. Our kids looked great. They had everything they ever wanted, except they didn't have a mom and dad at home. We have 6 kids, guys. 6 kids. I had 2, he had 3, and we took legal guardianship of a 17-year-old in 2017 who had lost both of his parents. So when I say we were killing ourselves trying to give our kids everything we thought they needed, and the one thing they did not have is their mom and dad. And if that doesn't kick you in the gut, whenever your child wakes up one day and they're devastated and they're depressed and they can't go anymore because they don't know why all of this is on their plate, and you think you're doing all the right things, we shut it all down. 2 days, my daughter had a complete breakdown. We were mess. Our business was great, but we were destroyed. We just couldn't do it anymore. And we shut the doors. And it shocked our whole community. You would have thought our whole world, they treated it like it was a human, because that's how we treated it. And so it took the wind out of me. It broke me down, but I knew that I was literally the person who had been thriving for 45 days, guys, and my brain got so clear and my mind was so focused, and I could see the roadblock in front of me, and my husband could see the roadblock in front of him. And it was the craziest thing. And I still wasn't open to being a Thrive promoter. That wasn't even on my radar. All I knew was I had to save my family at that very moment. And it looked like a total flip it upside down, turn it inside out disaster. So when I say you don't know what someone else needs, so why are you blocking your own blessings by staring side to side? Like, you're so worried over here and over here. It happens to my team all the time. They're like, she's killing it, and I don't understand why it's her time, and I'm working so hard, because you don't know what she's doing behind closed doors, because she is running for her daggum life. And until you need it like that, until you focus and you're running like it's all you got, this is all you can do, sometimes it is what's going on behind closed doors that has somebody else running for their life, and it is showing out in their numbers. It is showing out because they're doing more than just what you see on social media. There's so much more than showing up on a post. There's so much that is important. You have to show up in your social media. And if you don't do that, the first thing I look at when one of my team members comes to me and says, hey, I need your help, I go straight to their social media, straight to them. And I'm like, well, you know what? You posted one time in the last 5 days. And guess what? 99% of your following didn't see that post. So no one knows you're a daggum thriver. And they get real beside themselves and they're like, well, I don't want to be that girl. And I'm like, you're in the wrong business. Period. You don't want to be that girl. Neither did I. And guess what? I sat still for a real long time. So social media is great. But if you're not following up with your customers, if you're not doing the work behind closed doors, 200K looks real easy once you get there. It's real easy to look at Lindsay or me or Courtney or anyone in this business and think, oh, well, that's just an easy job. It's really a great job that requires a lot of work that you can do in this much time, or you can take it and you can do it in bits and pieces during the day, but it has to be done every single day like it takes your breath. Like you show up to your job right now, or the job that you had current before you started this, you showed up to that job every day. You didn't take a vacation. You didn't take an off day. You didn't use a sick day. You didn't wait and go to lunch every single day. Like you legit worked from the time you got up and when you come home, you clocked in. You can choose to clock in with this business for 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, 4 hours a day, whatever you have, but you have to do it every day. You can't clock in one day a week and take a daggum vacation and for the rest of the week. It just doesn't work that way. And it takes the follow-up. It takes the connection with your customers, the reaching out, the offering samples, the touching of your whole business and your journey. What is your journey? And what I told my girls the other day is my girls are in it's almost like we all were at home and everybody was so laser focused. And then it was like school went back, work went back, activities started coming back, parties started coming back, and all of a sudden you got all these excuses as to why not to run your business. And you're like, well, I don't understand. Over the last few weeks, like everything's just kind of slowed down. What has changed? Your effort has changed. What you're putting in has changed. It doesn't feel like it because you're doing everything else. You're feeling like you're touching your business and you're not. You're feeling like you're putting on the extra time and you're not, because it's distractions. And I have to be real with myself. You know what? We took our team in March, I was a 200K. In April, in March, I was a 12K. April, I was a 12K. In May, we went from 12K to 80K in the middle of a daggum pandemic. And by July 31st, we were 200K team. So from May to July, we went 200K in the middle of a pandemic. Don't tell me it can't be done. It's all in how much work you're committing. You know what I tell people all the time? The best thing that ever happened was a pandemic for my business. Because guess what? I didn't have nothing to do but work. My team didn't have nothing to do but work. And I have to remind myself of that every single day when I sit down at this desk at 8 a.m. and I start Power Hour, is I'm not getting up until the work is done. Because guess what? As soon as I leave this desk, as soon as you get up and go do something else, or you fix breakfast, or you cook dinner, or you meal prep, or you wash clothes, guess what? You never sit back down at this desk. It's just that hard. Because if you don't have a system and you don't do it every single day, it gets away. And every single day I have people reach out to me and I'm like, when was the last time you talked to this customer? When was the last time you talked to this customer? When was the last time you followed up? Well, I don't want to be that girl. I don't want to follow up. Well, guess what? That's why your business ain't growing. You got excuses. Guess what? They bought from you because of what you do. Don't use the excuse after they're already a customer not to touch them. Are you feeding them? Are you teaching them how to thrive for free? Are you giving them everything that you possibly can as a promoter that your promoter done for you? Are you showing up the way your promoter showed up for you? And my number one thing that I tell my girls when they get in a slump, or they're like, I just don't know, or they got some excuse for me, I'm like, what did you do in the beginning? Because if you go back and you look at the first month that you posted about Thrive and your excitement about it, it changes, because guess what? You forgot how crappy you felt. You forgot what it's like to not be a thriver. And my team, it happens to us all the time. They forget what it's like to feel bad. And you got to take that relation from where you're at now as a thriver, because guess what? They can't relate to your happy butt. They can't relate to your smiles. They can't relate to you can play with your kids and clean your house. I still don't clean my house good. I'm telling you, whoever gets Thrive Happy and cleans houses, 2934 in Tennessee. I will give you my address, because I'm still not the one, but I do a lot more. But the thing is people who need Thrive cannot always relate to the smiles and the happy and the everything. You got to remember with that smile where you were at, and you do not allow them to say, I can't relate to that. No, because guess what? You don't even know how bad you feel until you felt good. And y'all forget. You got to take it back. You cannot use the excuse, well, they're just not reaching out anymore. They're not reaching out because you're not giving them a reason to. They can't even relate to you. Whenever I got that trial of Thrive, my 5-day trial, I literally looked at my promoter and said, don't call me. I'll call you, and I ain't selling nothing. Swear on my whole life, it will forever be my story. She looked at me like a deer in the headlights and was like, okay. And I was like that miserable, y'all. I literally was that miserable. I was begging for any little bit of energy. But the thing is outside looking in, no one knew I was that sick. I was that tired, that I was that done with where I was at. I kept putting on the smile and I kept showing up, but she loved me right where I was. And she didn't bug me. She did follow up with me. I'm not even gonna lie. She sent me a little message on Facebook that said, how is your happy going? And I was like, oh. But I felt so good that I actually responded to her, and I was like, it's great. And I left it at that. And then 3 days later, I was like, hey, can you bring me another sample? My husband wants to know what I'm doing. And then by day 10, I have ordered mine. I ordered mine on day 3, his on day 10. You guys, we've never missed a day since. But imagine if she'd have just walked away from me in that sample and did not ever connect with me again. I may not be sitting right here right now. So you cannot let those people who act like they don't need you, they need you more than they even know. They need you to follow up. And it's scary. Like, the worst thing that someone can say when you follow up with them is, it doesn't work for me. They a dadgum lie, number one. They just don't even know that it's working. They're that bad. You just need to love them where they're at, because they will come back from you to you. They will come back when they realize how bad it really is. So don't fear the follow-up. Somebody said that. The fortunes in the follow-up. I preach that all the time. I get all the excuses of what it doesn't do, but what they don't know is what is going on with their body. And I challenge you, people tell me this all the time. Write down what your why is. And Lindsay said, if those I am scare you, keep reading them. When I wrote down my why, like my first month or 2 or 6 months in, my why was like, I want a better life. I want my kids to have this, or I want my kids to have that. Guys, I want a legacy. I don't want a life. I want a legacy. I want something that changes all the generational curses that my family passed down on me. I want to stop them here. I don't want to have excuses for why I didn't show up for me. I don't want my kids to have excuses. I want them to know when you fall down or when you want something bad enough, you get back up and you keep going. And that was the difference in where I was a year and a half ago and where I am sitting right here right now. The person a year and a half ago didn't even, I literally got up in the mornings. I sat in my shower and I would cry myself out of the shower to go to a business that I literally hated. I loved my husband. I helped him build it. We were in the car business. I am a nurse by trade. We literally allowed it to consume us. And I cried out of the shower, and I got in my $100,000 car and I drove to the building, and I showed up every single freaking day for a business. But the person I wasn't showing up for was myself. And you can say all the things you want to say. Oh, well, you had 6 kids and you got a business and you got a husband. No, the excuse is the reason why I was miserable wasn't the business. The reason why I was miserable is because I wasn't taking care of myself. And if I'd started taking care of myself a long time ago, I'd have never let the business get that miserable. I would have never allowed it to take over my life and to take over my family. And whenever we closed the doors and we walked away from it, it was one of the most gut-wrenching things in the world because it was a baby to us. It was a person to us, and we had allowed something to take everything, including almost missing a severe diagnosis for one of my kids, and I'm a nurse, because I was so caught up in making sure this business worked. And I wasn't making sure I worked. I wasn't making sure my family worked. I was just working every day for the public and to get the likes on Facebook and the 5-star ratings and all that because I loved people. But the thing was, is I didn't even have boundaries for myself. I didn't even know how to say I'm tired. I didn't know how to say I've had enough. And that was where I drew the line and we walked away. And I literally, I'm going to be real candid with y'all right now, because a lot of people will get off of here and you'll go friend me on Facebook and you'll go look at my feed. But a year and a half ago on May 29th of 2019, we had to file bankruptcy. And we had to do it to protect what we had left when we walked away from that business. Not because we missed a payment, not because we had equity and the bank forced us to file bankruptcy or give up everything, our home that we had. And I couldn't do that with 6 kids. So you want to talk about a kick in the teeth? You want to talk about humiliating? You want to talk about not knowing where to go? Imagine having a sick kid, doing what's right for your family and closing the doors and then being forced into bankruptcy. Don't give me excuses. When my team comes to me, they know you better not give me no BS excuse because I don't believe in them. It wasn't an excuse for me. I chose to dig into this and to not only stay the course when the path didn't go the way I wanted to, because in my mind, I was a 200K in 5 months. I was not a 12K. I wasn't even satisfied at 12K. 12K was like peons to me, but it was humbling when I sat there for 9 months and I grew in that 9 months and I was consistent in that 9 months. And whenever I prayed and prayed and prayed, because I knew that the Lord put me here. I knew it was the answer. I didn't know why. I didn't know how. I didn't know how I ended up in this, and I didn't know how I was going to make it work. But I knew I was here for a reason, and I put the freaking work in, and I was not about to ever lose that amount of myself again. And this business taught me that you not only can take care of yourself and take care of your family, but you can also be successful, but you have to do it every day. On top of everything else, on top of a COVID-19 pandemic, this team went 200K, guys. We are at $1.5 million in sales. And the thing is like, I know that I had an opportunity to say, I've got to go to work. I've got to go to that hospital. I've got to go get my nursing license back. It would have been easy at that very moment to bow down and bow out because it would have looked like she's doing the right thing. It's a good excuse. You know, it's a pandemic. She needs to go back to being a nurse. But I knew I was in the right place. So I challenge you tonight, whenever you get off this Zoom, is you look at your why and you dig down deep and you think, why am I really here? What do I really need down deep? Why did I join this team? Because you're here for a purpose. No matter what you think it is, big or small, or how long you're stuck right where you're at, it's that consistency. And when my team took back off, guys, my whole team fell off. After month 1, I went 12K. My first month, I went 12K. The second month, we were $4,000 from 40K. I already had another 12K under me. And it was like my whole team just went bloop, and they disappeared in month 3, which happens to a lot of us. You'll see the ups and the downs and the ebbs and the waves. That's just the way it works. It's not an excuse. It's not the end. It's just the beginning, because those people come back. Those people will be back, and they will bring people with them. My promoter that went 12K with me the month after that we almost hit 40K in my second month, she went on a hiatus until March of this year. But I never gave up on her. I never gave her an excuse. I loved her where she was at because I was growing too. And I took it at that moment that I needed to learn how to be a leader. And I had always been the person who had taken everything on, and I strived to do everything for everybody because that's all I knew, and I can control that. What I didn't know was how to teach people how to do things for themselves. And this business gives you every tool to do it for yourself and to teach others to do it for themselves. And when you quit thinking about all your goals and you start asking those below you and beside you, hey sis, what do you need this month? Hey sis, what's your goal? And you're real transparent, because guess what, guys? I signed a letter on May the 9th of this year as a 12K in the middle of a pandemic that I was going to pay off a debt of $50,000 in cash with no loans. Mind you, my husband was making good money, but guys, we had a ton of bills, and his money paid our payments, our house payment and stuff, and my money was what we lived off of. So I had no freaking clue how we were going to do this. I was real clear with my team what I needed, and real clear because that's the only way people can help you. Your upline and your downline can only help you if they know what you need. And if you aren't humble enough to tell them what you need or what your goals are, that's your problem. And you have to start opening up, because this business is a business of heart and it's a business of team, and you can get nowhere by yourself. I literally told not everyone on my team, but those people that I knew would run with me, if they knew what I needed, I was like, look, I am paying this off. I am not borrowing a dime to pay this off. On July the 18th, we cut a cashier's check for $50,000 in cash because we busted our butt. And I'm not going to tell you that Lavelle, I made every penny of that with Lavelle. I'm going to tell you that my husband and I worked our tails off to pay that. And my team knew. And when I cut that check, I wasn't the only one in tears. My whole team was, because they knew that it took us all, and that if I could do it, they can do it. And there's nothing in this business that you can't do with this team if you are honest with yourself and honest with them, and you show up every single freaking day. So, Lindsay, I don't know how much more. I mean, y'all, I can get real
deep.
You
are freaking amazing. No, I know I already told you this, but I adore you, and I appreciate you so dang much. And I don't know if you've been reading the chat, but our entire tribe appreciates you so dang much. And when you were talking, something came to mind, and I'm going to say it again this month, and I said it last month, is that success is not owned, right? Success is not owned, and it also is not free. Y'all know this quote. It is rented, and rent is due every single day. And if you are on my leadership or not, I have said this multiple times. I said, do you have a reminder in your phone that says, did I pay my rent? Every single day, because anytime after 4 p.m., that should be a reminder. It's a reminder in my phone, even as a 200K. Why? Because life happens. You get busy. You start doing things. And then, like Brittany said, you don't sit back down at your desk. So I need you guys, everybody on here, if you had any moment where you were like, I relate to this, this is me, my goals are worth so much more, my family's worth so much more, I'm worth so much more. I need you all to put that reminder in your phone to go off every single day at the same exact time and ask yourself, did I pay my rent? What I mean by that, did you do your IPAs? Y'all, there is no excuse as to what an IPA is. Not to like toot my own horn, but I'm kind of the queen of IPAs. Like, I have multiple videos. We talk about it all day long. We have work with me Zooms going through IPAs. You don't know what an IPA is, go to my YouTube, go on the team page, search it. go in my team chat, go up a little bit. Every single morning I share them with y'all. So if you say, I don't know what an IPA is, I don't know how to do it, I don't know what to do for my business, I don't know how to do this, it's not that you don't know, it's that you aren't listening to what's being said. You aren't, I am not the queen of everything, but thank you. IPAs, I will claim IPAs. Everything else, Lord help me. But just like Brittany said, I don't clean. So like, I never got that Thrive experience either. Like, gotta love Rob. He's great at that. He got that Thrive experience. I did not. But rent is due every day. And more than that, you have to pay your own rent for your own business before you can help other people on your team. So if it is noon and you're already pouring into your team and you're already talking to other people and you're already explaining IPAs and you're already helping them with opportunity stories, but your stories don't have a single opportunity, don't have even your products on there, you haven't done your self-development, you don't have a post, you don't have 3-2-1s, you don't have interactions, nothing. You are paying somebody else's rent from your bucket for today. And when you go to pay your rent at whatever time your alarm goes off, you're going to be real empty. Why? Because you gave it to everybody else. Your business, if you don't have a business, how does your team have a business? How are you supposed to teach other people how to be in this industry? How are you supposed to teach other people how to thrive for free? How are you supposed to teach other people if you aren't pouring into your business, if you aren't pouring into yourself? Self-development, yes. Y'all know how I feel about self-development. I don't start my day. I don't end my day. I end my day with I ams and gratitudes, and I do not start my day without some form of self-development. And y'all know I believe in all different kinds, whatever gets it right up here. And I end my day every single day with I am and gratitudes. Why? Because if you expect me to hop on here every single Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday, and then you want me to do, well, y'all don't want me to do anything, but I do them. If y'all like to see my face and this annoying ass voice on lives on our Facebook group, like, y'all, it's because I worked my business. I do not go in and do a training on anything that I have not done myself. I can tell you right now, Brittany is not going to do a training on anything that she hasn't done herself. And I can guarantee you anybody who is in a leadership position is not going to tell you to do something that they themselves do not do. And if you have a team, right, and you're telling them to do things, but you yourself are not doing it, I need you to remember that not only do you set the temperature for your business, but you set the temperature for your team. If I did not have an opportunity story every single day in my stories, but I was like, oh girl, you don't have an opportunity story, like get one up, you'd be like, bitch, what are you talking about? Either do you. Like, you have to be real with yourself. Look in the mirror and call yourself out on your own bullshit. Own it and set that reminder to pay your rent. Because if you're paying your team's rent, if you're paying your sideline sisters rent, if you're talking about paying your rent, but you aren't paying it, talk is cheap. And y'all know I say every single time I'm on a Zoom, if you want to send me your goals and you want to tell me your goals, you better have action plans behind it, because words mean nothing without meanings. Words are absolutely nothing without meanings behind it. And how do you get those meanings? Are with your actions. I am a firm believer in everything, not just like kindness and stuff like that, that actions speak louder than words. I will always match your effort. I will not match your words. There is a difference. You tell me your goals. You say, I want to go 4K. You say, I want to go 4K. Great. What are we doing? Because if you are not showing up and doing your IPAs, if you don't have your non-negotiables, y'all, non-negotiable November. Can y'all drop in the chat real quick some of your non-negotiables? Let's just get it going. Let's talk about it. What is your non-negotiable? Let's go. I want to know what your non-negotiables are, because it's non-negotiable November. And if you have a rough, and I'm not going to tell you you're not going to have a rough day, because we all do. These non-negotiables are things that you should be doing on those rough days. Non-negotiable November means every single day you're doing these things. Look at the chat go. You are doing these things. Y'all, I do minimum my 3 non-negotiables, but to me, my IPAs are now my non-negotiables. Why? Because if I'm going to sit here every single Monday and pour into y'all, my business, I better be my biggest runner. I tell you guys time in and time out that if you are not the strongest runner on your team, you cannot be upset about your volume. If you are not the strongest runner on your team, if you check your team PPAs and you are not at the top and you are upset about your volume, you know I'm going to tell you, okay, I'm going to say, what do you want me to do about it? You are in control. Every single month, y'all know I personally set a goal and I run 3 accounts. And on my personal account, I say I need to bring in 12K into my waiting room minimum, just on my account, not Rob's, not my mom's. Rob's an 80K, my mom's a 40K. They are not underneath each other, so they don't benefit each other. So I'm literally 3 legs working here, right? If you want runners, be a runner. You're going to attract what you put out there. If you say, you know what, no one on my team is working, are you? If you say, these are all things that I hear, and I'm sure Brittany hears them too, and I'm sure y'all, if you have people underneath your team, like you hear it as well. And maybe you have caught yourself saying it, and I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I am far from it. And if Em was on here, I think she's decorating for her Christmas trees. Plural, because the girl has like 37. But if Em was on here, she would tell you how annoying I was. I said I was quitting like 37 times. Easily 37 times. I'd be like, this isn't for me. This is bullshit. I'm done. And she'd be like, oh, okay, like calm down. What's going on? I'd be like, no, I'm just done. Like, I can't do this. It's not for me. Like, yeah, y'all, every single person goes through it. We're not saying we've never had excuses. We're not saying we've never had days where we didn't show up. What we're saying is we recognize them for what they were and got up and did it anyways. Have grace with yourself. Understand that you're a human, no matter what, but understand that there's a difference between having grace with yourself and giving yourself permission to believe excuses. There's a huge difference. Having grace with yourself is knowing that today is an awful day and I just need to unplug, but I'm sure as heck gonna unplug after I just do 5 minutes of non-negotiables. So 15 minutes if you have 3. 15 minutes in the morning. And then you know what? Put your phone away, give yourself that moment, but also understand that if you're going to do that, your business is not gonna be active that day. And if you, and then I'm going to end it at this, but y'all know that if you go to your 9 to 5, or I was a nurse as well, if you go to your 12 to 14 hour shift and you sit there and you walk in and you tell the charge nurse or you tell your manager and you say, you know, I'm not feeling it today. I'm just going to sit here. Like, you don't mind, do you? And they're like, go home. And you're like, but I need the paycheck. They're not going to be like, okay, sweetie, like, don't worry, you clock in, you sit there and we're still going to pay you. But so many people think that that's how this business works. You have to not only clock in, but do the work. You have to not only clock in, but be present. So know the difference between clocking in and working, because I did retail and I clocked in many a times and I worked at Victoria's Secret and I just kind of stood at the panty bar and acted like I was working. Y'all, if I did that for my business, I would not be where I am. We would not be where we are today. You have to own it, clock in, and work. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the best thing I ever did for myself is bet on myself. The best thing I ever did for my family was bet on myself and stop listening to everybody outside that was telling me I was crazy. Stop listening to all the weird looks. Because y'all know what I mean? Like when you listen to people's facial expressions, you're like, I know what you're thinking. Y'all, when we moved into this neighborhood, everyone looked at me like I was crazy because they asked Rob what he did for a living. Y'all, we bought this house because of what we do. We built this house with premium grade nutrition, built this freaking house. Okay. I'm going to tell you that right now. And when I told people that, they were like, oh, and they like walked away. Now everyone loves me because hi. But at first they thought I was crazy. They asked Rob what he did. And when he said he was retired because of me, they looked at him like, oh, okay, we don't relate. And that's fine. Be okay with not being relatable to people that don't understand where you're going, because not every single person is going to have your vision. Not every single person has your dreams. And guess what? That's okay. It doesn't make you wrong and it doesn't make them wrong. It just means that you are not right for each other at this time. I need you guys to go in to this month for yourselves. I said, and I ended last month and I said, this month, make it your selfish month. I don't mind. Be selfish. Why? Because I'm here. I can say that I will pick up whatever you need. Why? Because I've been selfish for years building myself. Take your selfish month and grow. Make yourself your own runner and then run until you say, this is what I worked for. Because I can promise you right now, as we were literally surreal moment, picking up that car last night, and y'all, when they called my name, I don't know if y'all watched the video or heard what Drew said, but I didn't even realize it was me because I was so excited for every single person being called. They literally, I was in Miami with a bunch of 200Ks for Maria's retreat, and they have their videographer, the team there watching me, and they were like, we didn't know that you were even on the list. You were just so excited for everybody being called. And then when you jumped up and was like, holy shit, that's me, we realized you were on the list to be called. Like, you have to be okay with other people winning. You have to be good with cheering everybody on and knowing that you can do it. They're living proof of it. I am not your competition. Brittany is not your competition. Not a single person on one of these squares is your competition. We're proof. That's all it is. So I love y'all. I hope you have a great rest of your Monday night, and let's kick it off strong because I have some really good feelings about this month, and y'all know me and my feelings. It's like tingles and like, it's great stuff. So it's going to be a great month. I'm so excited. I'll see you guys next Monday. Tomorrow night we have Work With Me. Emma's doing it. The schedules are on the team pages. So love y'all. Thank you so much, Brittany. You are so appreciated. And the chat is going already crazy about you. So you're amazing. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.